Today, we'll examine the twisted case of the Candy Family Massacre. Imagine a 10-year-old boy emerging from his room expecting a normal morning, only to be confronted with the unthinkable. His entire family, his father, mother, and 3 older brothers, lying motionless in a pool of blood. Defenseless and alone, he realizes he's the sole survivor. The Candy family's story is one of heartbreak and horror. What seems like a perfect suburban existence hides the darkest betrayal, one that would unravel the lives of everyone who knew them. This isn't just a tragedy, it's a chilling story that raises questions we may never answer. The Candys were everything you'd imagine in an all-American family. 4 sons, a loving father, and a vivacious mother. Friends, neighbors, and even casual acquaintances could never have foreseen their eventual fate. The Candy home in Yukon, Oklahoma sat quietly in a tranquil neighborhood where everyone knew each other. From mowing neighbors' lawns to hosting casual get-togethers, Jonathan Candy, the father, was known as a quintessential family man. Footage from a 2022 TV segment featuring the family brightly showcased their love for small pleasures, such as carrot cake and breakfast burritos. Nothing suggested the horror to come, but what lay beneath their polished exterior was a far darker secret, and it unraveled in a way no one expected. April 22, 2024, began like any other day for the youngest Candy child. With little warning of what had transpired, the boy crossed the threshold of his room into tragedy. At 9:30 a.m., he called 911, reporting that everyone in his family was dead. For responding officers, the scene at the Candy home shattered the quiet routine of the neighborhood. Inside the house, the truth emerged. Lindsay Candy, 39, and her sons, Dylan, 18, Ethan, 14, and Lucas, 12, had been shot. Their killer, the husband and father they trusted, Jonathan Candy. Spared by some unknown factor, the youngest boy's fate was to live the rest of his life with this unimaginable trauma. If an armed intruder had broken into the Candy home and carried out this heinous act, the narrative might be easier to accept. But the fact that Jonathan Candy, the pillar and protector, turned on his family in a gruesome murder-suicide shook even hardened law enforcement officials. Each forensic investigation only seemed to deepen the mystery. 2 bodies were found upstairs, the other 2 downstairs. No signs of struggle appeared. The attacks were deliberate, cold, and methodical. Worse still were the unanswered questions. Why? And how could a seemingly loving father commit such a monstrous act? Neighbors who had known the Candys for years found themselves speechless. He was a family man, one neighbor recounted. He loved his kids and would help anyone in the community. This doesn't make sense. Friends and acquaintances from Jonathan's workplace echoed similar sentiments. Having worked part-time at Oklahoma City's Paycom Center during major sports events, his jokes and charismatic nature had made him a beloved coworker. He was even seen at a Thunder Pelicans playoff game mere hours before this unthinkable tragedy unfolded. For his wife Lindsay, remembered fondly as a kind-hearted and cheerful woman, there were no public indications of trouble in their marriage. Facebook images showed a happy family. Onlookers couldn't reconcile these memories with the gruesome reality of April 22nd. Amid this horror stands one glimmer of hope. The youngest son, whose name has been withheld, shielded by anonymous privacy, this boy carries the burden of survival. His loved ones have decided to spare him additional trauma from the case, leaving many questions unanswered. Why did Jonathan Candy choose to let the boy live? Was there an emotional connection that saved him, or did the father have second thoughts as he realized the gravity of his actions? The decision to spare him adds yet another eerie layer to this case, one that experts, psychologists, and investigators alike struggle to interpret. Dr. Joni Johnston, a noted forensic psychologist, expressed professional shock at the case. It is incredibly rare for a parent to kill some children and spare another, especially in murder-suicides. This leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Without traces of domestic violence in the family's past, a common indicator in similar cases, The motive behind Jonathan's actions remains elusive. It was revealed that an argument between Jonathan and Lindsay occurred on the night of the tragedy, but no concrete details have surfaced. What could have escalated so drastically to lead to such devastation? For their friends and community, the death of the Candy family leaves an open wound. A father beloved by his children and neighbors alike was revealed as someone capable of unimaginable acts. A mother and 3 children who once lit up their home with laughter were silenced forever, and one child, young and vulnerable, shoulders a weight that no one so young should have to bear. What truly happened that night? What dark forces drove Jonathan Candy to commit such an atrocity? These questions might never be answered. The rest of this community can only speculate, grieve, and try to move forward. The Candy family's tragic story serves as a reminder that appearances can mask unthinkable pain. For true crime enthusiasts, this case provokes introspection into the shadows that may lurk behind even the happiest facades. A grim realization that even the familiar can turn frighteningly foreign. He seemed like a devoted, caring father, the kind neighbors regarded with admiration. But what could lead a man like Jonathan Candy to commit the unthinkable act of taking the lives of his wife and 3 of his children before turning the gun on himself? It's a question that keeps haunting the community, forcing them to ruminate over what unfolded that tragic evening. Could a sudden, fiery argument have escalated? Or were hidden struggles simmering beneath the surface waiting to boil over? One theory emerges from the shadows. Jonathan may have killed his wife in a fit of rage, sparked by a heated altercation, an act of violence that perhaps wasn't premeditated. And yet, how did this rage spiral into such a complete and irreversible tragedy? The dark depths of this case remain shrouded in questions. But one certainty exists. The Candy family's story reminds us how critical it is to uncover and address the hidden emotional burdens people silently bear. Lindsay Candy radiated light and joy wherever she went. Her best friend, Cami Cruz, often reminisced about their carefree childhood, sharing fond and now bittersweet memories. One such memory recalled the 2 friends asleep in a treehouse, their brief disappearance scaring their parents but ending in laughter. Cruz struggled to reconcile this innocent laughter with the harrowing news of Lindsay's tragic death. On Facebook, Cruz left a heartfelt tribute, describing Lindsay as a deeply loved mother and friend who brought warmth and laughter into every conversation. But Lindsay's love extended beyond mere words. For her 3 boys, she was the cornerstone of joy and stability, a connection cruelly severed in one unimaginable instant. The eldest son, 18-year-old Dylan Candy, was the type of young man every parent dreams of having. A talented drummer, a passionate bandmate, and a loyal friend. A recent graduate of Mustang High School in 2023, Dylan had begun a new chapter at Oklahoma Baptist University, where his drumming skills earned him a place in the Bison Brigade, OBU's esteemed marching band. An amazing young man with incredible dedication, remarked Brian Stackhouse, OBU's director of athletic bands. Dylan had a rare blend of talent, perseverance, and leadership that made him a standout despite being a freshman. His excitement during band camp, when assigned a drum solo, was infectious, a memory his bandmates now cherish in the wake of his devastating loss. The Bison Brigade honored Dylan with a memorial display, exhibiting his bass drum and uniform, symbols of his exuberant spirit and commitment. 14-year-old Ethan Candy captivated his peers and coaches alike with his unstoppable energy and athletic talent. A standout baseball player at Mustang North Middle School, Ethan had a game-changing presence on the field and in life. Coach TJ Armstrong described Ethan as someone who played with unmatched joy and intensity, earning the affectionate nickname, Sweet Candyman. Ethan shared a profound friendship with the coach's son, a bond that intensified the pain of his loss. Friends and teammates have struggled to cope, finding solace in creating lasting tributes, including a memorial bench at the Mustang Youth Sports Complex. At just 12 years old, Lucas Candy had a vibrant spirit that belied his small stature, playing joyfully at his older brother Ethan's soccer practices or making new friends effortlessly. Lucas epitomized childhood innocence. His life was tragically cut short, leaving a hollow void in the lives of those who knew his laughter. He seemed like a loving and supportive father, but what would make a father put a bullet through some of the people he claimed to love the most in the world? Something may have happened. He kills his wife and several of his kids, and then just decides to kill himself, kind of to get out of it. One possibility, there are so many possibilities, and I think one of them that I thought about is that it's possible he kills his wife in the heat of some altercation they're having, some argument, and he, for whatever reason, just loses it, shoots her several times, kills her, and that is not premeditated. Cami Cruz shared a heartwarming anecdote from her childhood with Lindsay, recalling a time they hid in a treehouse and fell asleep, causing a brief scare for their parents. The story, though initially alarming, ended in laughter, showcasing the girls' carefree spirit. Cruz emphasized the enduring nature of their friendship, mentioning how they could always reconnect seamlessly. The community has rallied around him, offering not just financial help through a GoFundMe campaign, but also emotional and psychological counseling. Social workers, neighbors, and family offer what comfort they can, but they all know this boy carries a heavy burden, one that will shadow him in years to come. Neighbors and friends of the Candy family are united in their disbelief. At local station KF, Jonathan's extended family shared their devastation, struggling to grasp why and how such a tragedy unfolded. 68-year-old Michael Burcham, a neighbor, expressed his shock, remarking how nothing seemed amiss within the Candy household. Brian Graham, another neighbor, remembered Jonathan as a helpful figure, always willing to offer a hand. And T.J. Armstrong, Ethan's coach, found it heart-wrenching to reconcile the man he knew, a great guy, always thankful and kind, with the acts he committed. As grief ripples through the community, people also remember the good. Lindsay's infectious cheers during baseball games, Jonathan's hugs, and the simple, joyful moments shared between family and friends. These treasured memories now serve as fragile comfort for a community haunted by questions. Investigators are meticulously piecing together Jonathan's last days, examining his interactions and analyzing whether mental health challenges played a role. But the absence of clear warning signs makes the path to uncovering answers murky at best. Experts have stressed the importance of addressing mental health struggles, calling for greater awareness and community resources to prevent tragedies. This case stands as a grim reminder that even those who outwardly smile may be grappling with inner chaos. Breaking the stigma around mental health has never felt more urgent. Support groups, counseling services, and outreach programs are now being offered to help the Candy family's neighbors and friends process the trauma and extinguish lingering fears within their community. True crime stories like this one come with a choice. We can turn away, stunned but passive, or we can use them as a catalyst for change. The Candy family's tragic story emphasizes the critical need for connection, for fostering genuine dialogue with friends and loved ones, and for providing support when someone appears to be struggling internally. This wasn't just a family, it was a cornerstone of their community, a symbol of joy now eclipsed by sorrow. As the surviving child embarks on a new chapter marked by loss, yet buoyed by hope, this story reminds us all to be vigilant, empathetic, and proactive in preventing such heartbreak from happening again. The Candy family's tragedy is a tale of love extinguished too soon, forever etched in the memory of those they touched. But as the community mourns, they also find the strength to rally together in support of the remaining child, holding on to his future as a beacon of hope amidst the darkest of times. That's all for today. Stay tuned as we continue to investigate and share the most chilling and perplexing true crime cases. Like, subscribe, and join us next time. Thank you for watching. See you soon.